Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to trace the incredible journey of space technology. We're starting with a simple beeping sphere from 1957, and we're ending up in today's world where space is an intelligent trillion-dollar frontier that's quietly becoming the new backbone of our entire global economy.
Okay, so to really wrap our heads around that journey, let's just start by looking at how far we've actually come. This first part is all about the massive leap from a simple beep to a thinking brain up in orbit.
And this is where it gets really wild. On the left, you've got Sputnik from 1957. It was basically a beach ball with no computer. Its entire mission? To send out a simple radio pulse. That's it. Now, look at the right. That's FISAT-2, launched just this year. It's the size of a shoebox, but it's packing an AI coprocessor that makes real-time decisions about wildfires and ship traffic, all from orbit. And that really gets to the heart of it, right? As this quote says, this isn't just about us getting better at building hardware. It's a fundamental philosophical change in our whole relationship with space. We went from just trying to reach it to using it in ways that were, not too long ago, pure science fiction.
So, let's unpack how that huge shift actually happened. I mean, how did space go from being this grand stage for national pride, these big one-off spectacles, to becoming the invisible backbone of our modern world? This timeline really lays it all out. The first space age, kicking off with things like the V-2 rocket, was all about brute force engineering. It peaked with the absolutely incredible spectacle of the Apollo moon landing in '69. But then, look what happens. The mission quietly changes. In the '70s, work begins on GPS. By 1995, it's fully up and running, and space officially becomes a public utility, something you and I started relying on every single day, most of the time without even thinking about it. And speaking of Apollo, we have to talk about the brain that got us there. The Apollo guidance computer was an absolute marvel of engineering for its time. But to really truly grasp the leap we've made since then, you got to see what they were working with. 4 kilobytes. That's it. Let that sink in for a second. The total amount of RAM the Apollo computer had to land human beings on the moon was 4 kilobytes.
And to put that into perspective, that is less memory than it takes to store a single emoji on your phone today. Seriously, that thinking face emoji, what was once enough for a moonshot, is now trivial. That's the insane exponential growth we're talking about.
So that explosion in computing power really set the stage for the next big revolution. But this time, it wasn't about a government space race. Nope. This one was driven by two huge forces that completely flipped the economics of space on its head. And here they are, the two big steps. First up, miniaturization. The CubeSat comes along, using all that great tech from the smartphone boom, and all of a sudden, satellites could be tiny and cheap to build. And second, a relentless, hardcore focus on cost reduction from private companies. You know who I'm talking about, like SpaceX. Their whole mission was to make the trip to orbit radically cheaper. And when you put those two things together, small and cheap, boom, you get an economic explosion. All of a sudden, space was truly open for business, creating this new, intelligent, data-driven economy where intelligence literally meets orbit. And you can see that explosion happening in real time right here. Just look at the pace. It's not just growing, it is accelerating. We went from 178 successful launches in 2022 to 211 last year, to a projected 253 this year. That is a massive jump in just 2 years. We're in a full-blown boom. So who's fueling this boom? This chart tells the whole story. The global space economy is now worth over $600 billion. But look at that big slice. 78% of it, it's commercial. Private industry is absolutely in the driver's seat now.
But the real magic, the core of this change, is what's happening inside these new satellites. You can really think of it like a brain transplant. On one side, you've got the old school chips, super tough, radiation hardened, but basically they're fancy calculators. On the other side, modern AI GPUs. They're not just faster, they are astronomically more powerful. We're talking a shift from basic math to actual, on-the-fly AI decision-making.
And this new brain power makes something possible called edge computing in space. And trust me, this is a total game changer. See, instead of beaming down terabytes of raw data for us to sift through, the satellite does the thinking itself, right there in orbit. It spots the important stuff and just sends down the valuable insights. It's not just a camera anymore, it's an intelligent analyst. And this isn't some far-off future stuff. It is happening right now. You've got Starlink satellites using AI to dodge space junk all by themselves. Remember the Mars Ingenuity helicopter? It had to make its own flight decisions because it's just too far away to control from Earth in real time. And China's Chang'e 6 mission, it navigated the far side of the moon with no direct link to home. These machines are really starting to think for themselves.
So, what's the bottom line? What does all this actually mean for us back here on the ground? Well, in this last part, let's dig into how this new reality in space is creating huge risks, but also some unbelievable opportunities.
Yeah, this kind of explosive growth doesn't come without some serious growing pains. Orbit is getting dangerously crowded. We're tracking over 35,000 pieces of junk up there. All these new connected satellites, they're new targets for cyber attacks. And we're facing enormous challenges like how do you even manage traffic up there? Plus, there's a huge shortage of people who actually know how to do this work. These are brand new problems we have to solve, and fast.
But, with big problems come some really creative solutions. And this is one of my favorites. To deal with all that space debris, there's LignoSat, the world's first wooden satellite. Why wood? It's genius. It's designed to completely burn up when it re-enters the atmosphere, leaving zero junk behind. It's a perfect example of the kind of clever thinking we need to make space sustainable.
And that really brings us to the most important takeaway of all. You have to stop thinking of space as a sector. It's not. It has become infrastructure. It's the foundational layer that everything else is being built on top of. Finance, farming, logistics, insurance, you name it.
And that leaves us with one last really crucial thought. For every single business leader, for every innovator, for every professional out there, the game has completely changed. So the question isn't, will space technology reshape my industry? That's a given. The only question left is, are you ready for it?